T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast. The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Eric Fiskus, Brady Liming, and Todd Griffin.
Hooday.
Hootie.
Hooday.
We will be back next year.
I'm not that bold. We will be back.
I am bold.
I just to play devil's advocate. It's a role that I cherish. I was thinking the other day. I saw a couple comments, on Facebook about, predicting the Bengals will be back next year, and it's pretty hard not to be confident that they'll be in the thick of things the next few years. But then someone reminded the poster that, Aaron Rodgers has only been to one Super Bowl. Dan Marino, who would have
never won one?
Yeah, who would have predicted the? So it's one of those things where it's not easy to get there. It's not easy to get there, but I think that at least we're talking about it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
In the conversation.
Yeah.
And Dan Marino went in his second year of his career.
Yeah.
And never went back.
Yeah, there's some similarities there. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But
yeah. Episode 88 of the Play It By Ear podcast. And speaking of 88, 1988, the last year. Or last season, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl prior to this one. So,
isn't that the year Brady graduated?
Both of us.
88, 89?
89.
89.
Yeah.
Heresy.
SJ graduate 88, right? SJ. And
Sacrilege.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
Heresy. All right. Once again, welcome. Been a couple weeks. Been a minute.
It has.
So sometimes life gets in the way. Parent-teacher conferences and other things. And when your only day of the week that you're open is a Friday, that probably doesn't bode well for the audience either. But that's why we opted to wait. Things were going on, and but good to be back. Revive the old, rev up the old engine, whatever you want to say. But,
Vroom.
All right. Looking at the earbuds, checking in. Welcome, Maxwell. Savannah with us.
Savannah.
Howard.
Gary.
Hooday.
Miss Wilson. The
Uh,
old man.
Bakerton.
Shaman.
Stallion.
We have to slip one of those references in every week.
Once again, an NBA Jam reference if you are not familiar. And you could name your own characters, and that's where all that comes from. Anyway, sometimes we have to explain ourselves. So once again, welcome. Visit our website right there, www.playbyyourpodcast.com. We'll talk about that as we go through the show here. And if you've not been with us before, even if you have, we'll remind you the format. Each of us bring a topic to the table. We will talk 20-ish minutes on the topic and generally exhaust that topic and move forward. So with that, we are in order on the screen. I kind of made an executive decision, but we're in the order on the screen. It's which we will give our topics. Todd, Brady, and then myself with the game of the evening. So, that being said, got 14 in the room now, so that's good. If you
Great
feel like,
number.
Yeah.
If you feel like chiming in, do so, because we value your input. If you'd like to sit back in the shadows and lurk, that's okay too. It's all good.
Tis.
Todd, you have the floor.
And go. All right, so I know we had one of our personal favorite episodes. We kind of went off on a rant about Transformers, or not. I'm sorry, He-Man figures, Masters of the Universe figures. He-Man, and I think that ended up spawning an entire episode. Was it, or at least an entire topic?
Oh yeah, we got a good episode and a half out of it.
Yeah, so I don't know that we've done just toys in general. I know they've been brought up, and nostalgia has brought them up into many of our conversations, but I have a list here of the 19 lamest 80s toys of all time, but also part of this list is the 10 best, so it's kind of like a twofer.
Can I make a blanket statement? The toy was never as fun in person as it was on the commercial.
No.
Oh, we talked about that before. I don't think this is going to be on the list, but Nerf Boomerang ticks me off to this day. I could not get it to come back to me. I could not spin it on my finger like the kid did. I could not knock out a marsupial at 100 yards. It was a big disappointment.
I never had any luck with any damn Boomerang. Boomerang's a pretty stupid toy.
And
It's a weapon.
Heaven help you with the Nerf Boomerang if there was a 3-mile-per-hour wind.
Oh, Lord. I'd be picking it out of my neighbor's eaves.
Yeah, might as well throw a fabric softener into the air.
Bounce.
Wow.
All right, so number 29, lame. That's how this is categorized. It just has the number and then whether it's lame or good. The good ones are mixed in, so it's a little tough to decipher. But anyway, 29, lame. Poor man's Transformers. It says, I'm not blowing any minds by saying that Transformers was a big deal in the 1980s. Hasbro's robots in disguise toy and cartoon juggernaut was making all the money. Former kings of toys for boys, Tonka, seeing their oversized dump trucks weren't flying off the shelves anymore, did the sensible thing and made those trucks into robots. Gobots were what you got for your birthday from well-meaning family members who knew you wanted one of those transforming robots or transforming toys. Ironically, Hasbro bought the line out in 1991 and worked the Gobots lore into an alternative Transformers timeline. So Gobots is what they're talking about. They've been a little beyond your time. But I had some Gobots.
No, Gobots were in our wheelhouse.
Yeah. And even back when they both came out about the same time, and that was a common mistake to make because all the lame, unwashed Philistines gravitated toward Gobots and Transformers. Let me put it this way. Gobots to Transformers is like a Five Guys hamburger being compared to the very last onion slider left at a gas station in Winslow, Arizona that has been there for 3 years.
Well, according to this, they didn't come out at the same time. This was Hasbro's or Tonka's response to the popularity of Transformers.
Tonka.
I was going to ask if it was akin to Matchbox versus Hot Wheel.
That is very accurate.
I always thought Matchbox were just chintzy. And
they were a little
made.
bit larger. Yeah, they featured a bit more plastic. I think that when Matchbox came out, they were the first, and Hot Wheels just made a better iteration.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was flipped. I don't know.
Well,
that
wait a
sure.
minute. Matchbox, it was British, right? And the Hot Wheels were the American version.
I
Pretty
don't
sure
know.
that was
That
the
I'm not
case.
sure of. But I know Matchbox were usually pricier, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's correct. And
But they're just not as cool.
Todd's correct. They were a little bigger. Now, I was never into the GoBots or whatever, but Now, I feel like I'm an authority on Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels?
Hot Wheels? I can speak to that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure and I'm going to look it up while you talk. But the Matchbox, I believe, was British.
All I remember in relation to the GoBot, the toys weren't as cool, but the characters were too whimsical and their voices were too whimsical on the cartoon. Optimus Prime is said by the lead of the GoBots sounded like it was very cartoonish.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
Who were the leaders? Who were the two different? Who were the baddies and the goodies in the GoBots? I can't remember.
Psykill
Yeah.
was a motorcycle that was a baddie. And here's how forgettable. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you who the leader of the Gobots were.
What were they called? Like it was like, you had Decepticon or in the Transformers realm. So what were I can't remember what the two sides were called in the GoBots.
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
All right, moving along. We got a lot of good toys to talk about here and bad ones.
Okay.
Number 28.
I have a chime in before you go.
Okay.
Matchbox. The Matchbox name originated in 1953 as a brand name of the British die casting company Lesney Products. Matchbox was British.
Very good, sir.
Throwing that
All
in
right.
there. Go ahead.
Sorry, I lost my page. All right. 28. Lame. So many bad He-Man figures, which we don't have to spend much time on this, but basically it says we've already done, apparently this website had already done a whole article about bad He-Man toys. There are so many like Ramman, who to his credit is pretty clear about what he's into. You can't even move his arms and legs so as not to mess up his aerodynamics. There are also classics like Squeeze, who leaves no doubt in your mind that he is a snake man, and Snout Spout, who looks like someone tried to cosplay as Flame Mammoth from Mega Man X and gave up after the head. So I don't remember Squeeze or Snout Spout. Eric, can you look up Snout Spout and Squeeze for us?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Did you say Snake Man or Snakeman?
Well, it's there was no Snakeman. It was
He's just saying Squeeze was a snakeman.
Yes, Squeeze was a snakeman, and Snoot Spoot.
you have to say,
I'm a snake.
I'm a silly snake. All right. 27. Are you looking that up, Eric?
I am looking at it,
Squeeze
yeah.
and Snout Spout. While he's doing that, 27. Best OG Transformers. So we opened up with the Poorman's Transformers. Now we are the OG Transformers, which were pretty cool. There's nothing bad I can say about.
Oh yeah.
They were nicely made. Like they were heavy. Like, you know what I mean? They were made out of. Well, all of them weren't, but like the first generation Transformers that I remember were heavy. They weren't plastic, or they had plastic, but they were also metal.
There was a lot of amazing engineering that went into those toys. But now my only gripe with the Transformers, when I finally got one, and like I said, I was getting older where I still had one toe in it, couldn't quite give it up yet, but I was getting older and not. But I remember when I finally got one, it was a Porsche, and he would turn into the robot, but the car looked great, but the robot looked clunky. It didn't look. You knew it was a robot, but it wasn't nice and streamlined.
Yeah.
But just throwing that out there.
Are we ready for Snout Spout?
Snout Spout and Squeeze. Wheeze.
He's a snake.
Snout Spout.
Why isn't he called like? I don't know. Why is it
Lump
Snout?
and
Why
pour.
is
Mammoth.
So, I mean, what does that snout do?
Well, I'm afraid to answer that question from this picture.
I think a better name would have been Kerplunka Trunka. That's not a snout. That's a trunk.
I think. Oh, what is the elephant god? But There needs to be a Babar reference in there.
He looks like he's
Babar.
ready to vacuum corners. That's pretty much what
Yes.
his face. He's a vacuum. He's a human shop vac.
Babar with 1 B or 2? 2.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
Babar. No, I thought you meant right together.
Oh, nah.
That's a Fletch reference. Come on.
Oh,
on.
good gosh. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking too hard.
Well, don't do
I'm
that.
awed by the
problem.
Snoutman.
I got a few comments here. Ms. Wilson Brady, what did you have against marsupials that made you purchase that boomerang?
Actually, my thing didn't have anything to do about hunting the marsupials, but when the movie Kroll came out, if I might have my timing, or Tron, where they would throw the discs and they would come back, that's where my mind was.
Of course, we know there are a lot of kangaroos running around Purdy Road in Sardinia.
There are. You never know when the kangaroo are going to go.
Hey, James.
Howdy, Mr. Hammond.
Howdy.
Howard Marty Logan had Boku Hot Wheels more than anyone I knew. No Matchbox in his collection. I had an assortment. It was mostly Hot Wheels. But Hot Wheels, by the way, were United States made. They came out 15 years after Matchbox. So I guess you could say Hot Wheels was Mattel's response to Matchbox cars.
Yeah.
Howard also says Proboscis Man should be the name of the snout spout. Now let me find Squeeze.
Squeeze. Make sure you spell it right.
How can I misspell Squeeze? This is Heeman, right?
Yeah.
There's 3 S's at the beginning of it. You're already misspelling it.
Oh, yes.
I was serious when I said it is squeeze.
There we go.
Man, he does look like he could
looks
throw
like
the
a
squeeze
lizard.
on somebody.
I want him guarding the paint down low on the block.
How does that man find shirts?
How does that man take care of his dillberry maker?
What?
With arms like that,
I
how
don't think he
can
could take care of the whole building's dillberry maker.
I was going to say he could take care of your deal,
I was going to say, if you sit still, he's getting ready to right now.
you, Squeeze. But like if he is sitting in a vulnerable position on the loo, how's he going to get those arms to where they need to go?
He, I don't know, but he could definitely
Because
reach
his
under and
elbow
hand-
would hit the ceiling.
He could reach under and hand you some toilet paper 3 stalls away.
That he could.
So, to explain this for the benefit of our audio audience.
Oh, yes.
It looks like a dinosaur head,
Kind of, yeah, maybe.
and it's like
Kind of looks like the Lizardman from Spider-Man.
there you go. But stands up on 2 feet, 2
All
legs.
twos.
All twos. I was about to say, yeah, all 4s didn't work, but his arms are on the ground, so he's got really long arms that kind of. It looks like a heart shape. The hands come together in front of him, and the elbows are on the ground.
It reminds me of a Tom and Jerry cartoon when Tom grabs a hold of a moving truck and it stretches his arms and then they fall and they're stuck that way.
That is a fact.
Yes.
It looks like I don't know. It's strange. I don't remember this. This must have been after I bailed out of He-Man.
Yeah.
So why would you make unless the arms are snakes, which I don't know. They look like hands, but
His
Why-
face
why-
looks like somebody accidentally walked in his yard and he wasn't having any of it.
but why would you call it
Squeeze.
I bet I know, and
It's a
I have no
snake.
knowledge of this. I bet he wraps them around his prey
Yeah,
and
he's a
squeezes
constrictor.
them.
Yeah.
But the 3 S's at the beginning make you think it's a snake-like creature when it's really a lizard-like creature.
Yeah, but its arms are snake-like. It's a constrictor. He's got 2 constrictors coming out for arms.
He's
Well, I think-
literally got 24-inch pythons.
But I think the hands should be like snake heads.
Snake heads?
Yeah. Snake
Yeah.
heads.
Snake
like
heads. Snake heads.
Medusa phalanges.
Yeah, he doesn't look very intimidating to me. I think I could outrun him.
But you
Those
couldn't
arms-
outrun his arms.
Those arms would be getting in the way. By the way, what kind of ab routine were all the He-Man characters in? Good Lord, all of them were cut.
We're talking 10 packs.
Normal looking He-Man figures. All right, 26. Lame. Indentured animal babies. Another toy phenomena that is inexplicable today, Cabbage Patch Kids straddle the line between dolls and toys, and it seemed like every kid I knew had one. What I don't remember are these spin-off dolls called Kooses, for whatever reason. Kooses were supposed to be pets for the Cabbage Patch Kids, though they clearly just used the same bodies and head sculpts but added cat ears. They are also, in the rich lore of Cabbage Patch Kids, fully sentient, which is pretty dark, and even Google tags them as animal babies. So the picture of it looks like a Cabbage Patch body and a Cabbage Patch, well, pretty much just what they said. It's a Cabbage Patch Kid with animal ears.
What's it called again?
Kooses.
That's probably what the kid does when they don't get an actual Cabbage Patch Kid. They Kooses.
Well, this isn't a poor man's Cabbage Patch. This was Cabbage Patch brand. It was a pet.
An accessory.
Yeah, it was an accessory. It was a pet for your Cabbage Patch.
Yeah. But they kind of look like a DNA experiment gone bad.
The picture here is, it's hard to, it's just like let me find the right light. It's a Cabbage Patch Kid. This is a dog, apparently, with just dog ears.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So it's more like a person that has a couple animal
features.
Yeah.
25 on the lame list, Irresponsible Pet Owner Simulator. Puppy surprise, every kid's dream, every parent's nightmare. While the idea that your cute dog could just randomly get fat and then one day spawn half a dozen cuter, tinier versions of itself is incredibly exciting for a kid, as an adult, all I see is bills and torn up couches. So apparently Puppy Surprise was a pregnant stuffed animal, like a stuffed dog that had puppies in its belly.
I'm not making this up. It came with slime. Because so when the puppies were born, I swear.
Like after birth?
Yes.
It's the most outrageous thing I've ever heard.
It is. Now
I don't think this would have, Brady, only because these are stuffed. This isn't like a plastic set. These are plush.
Okay.
This
the one
is just
I'm thinking of is more plastic.
Yeah, it just says Puppy Surprise is a stuffed toy featuring a random number, and that's exciting. If it were a random number, I could see like, hey, how many puppies am I going to get with this one? Because the best thing about having babies is not knowing how many there are in there. A little sarcasm there. It also says that part of the pregnancy craze of the 90s, scroll down, apparently number 6 on the list is going to be another toy of some sort that is pregnancy related. So I don't remember that craze. I never had a Puppy Surprise.
I stepped in it before, but
could you imagine buying a Puppy Surprise and it being some sort of defect from the factory and there being no puppies in there? I mean, that would have been terrible.
That's dark.
I mean, think about it, because you know that had to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, then you just have an adult dog. Who wants to buy one of those? 24, best, your first car. I never had my first car that I remember.
It's called 76 Pinto.
A common sight on lawns, both urban and sub, the Little Tykes Cozy Coupe is immediately recognizable for its bulbous shape and yellow on red color scheme. The coupe grew up with you, from a comfy way to roam around your yard as a kid to a roll cage equipped stunt machine perfect for launching over ramps. While modern versions have given the thing eyes for some reason, the design has stayed mostly consistent for decades. The coupe is so beloved that it has been made into actual road-safe cars for adults who just can't let go of that sense of independence and adventure. I didn't have one. I didn't.
Like Speed Buggy or Wonder Bug.
Yeah.
See the coupe.
Nice.
23 on the list. Lame. Fun for minutes. Talking about an Etch-A-Sketch. I know what you're thinking. Etch-A-Sketch is one of the quintessential 80s toys, even being immortalized in Toy Story. Everybody had one or knew a kid who did, and they're staples of kindergarten classrooms to this day. But has anyone stopped to consider that they're terrible? Trying to draw something with an Etch-A-Sketch is like trying to draw with one hand tied behind your back and the other hand severed at the elbow. These things are fun for 5 seconds. It takes for the 5 seconds it takes to get over the initial joy of when I turn the knob, the line happens. Even if you do manage to make something worth looking at, the thing is such contempt for you that it self-destructs as soon as you put it down. I never was a fan of the Etch-A-Sketch.
Oh, I mean, do you remember those BS commercials where you'd see like the picture on the Etch-A-Sketch look like something from the Louvre?
Oh yeah,
yeah. With rounded that had curvature to it, and not because of the Etch-A-Sketch you could do only do things in line segments and angles.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, let's be honest though. I mean, you've seen these memes on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. Like the things we had to use to pass the time away when we were young. I mean, kids today have no idea. I mean, like one of those little books you had where you had the yellow marker and you color and the things would appear. And
what about the what was it? They always had him at the dentist office. It was like a man, and you could move his mustache around. And it had like the little tiny magnet dust in it.
Yeah.
You pretty much just chased it around his face trying to form a mustache. Impossible. Yeah.
Or Etch-A-Sketch like thing where you had the plastic writing utensil
wand.
Well, you drew the whatever you wanted to draw, or wrote whatever you wanted to write, and then picked up the little.
Yes.
Yeah. And after a while, whatever you just would get burnt in, so like you could never erase it. Number 22, lame. What needs to be said about the Nintendo Power Glove that isn't covered in this legendary? There's a clip here, so that doesn't. So basically, this is talking about the Power Glove. Now, I never owned the Nintendo Power Glove, but I know that it was a pretty much a giant
flop.
Yeah.
That was an 80's thing. I don't even remember about.
Yeah,
I'm
89.
I remember them.
No, well, it doesn't say 89. Yeah, 89.
Yeah. It looked like something that a villain would use. It kind of looked like the Infinity Gauntlet. It was real big. It went on your hand. It was supposed to do all these amazing like virtual reality moves, but
yeah,
it's terrible.
All right, number 21 on our best. Again, very confusing the way this list is, but. Sandbox Warriors, created in 1964 and credited for creating the term action figure. Since conventional wisdom believed that boys wouldn't play with dolls, the brand really came into its own in 1982 when Hasbro rebranded to Joe's, not as a semi-accurate representation of real branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, but as an elite fighting force battling the evil organization Cobra. The 3 3/4 scale figures are what most of us probably think of when we think of G.I. Joe.
A real American hero.
Yeah. Another smash hit for Hasbro.
I was very, very young, like 5, when the full-size G.I. Joes were out, where they kind of had the real hair. They kind of looked like Chia Pets, but it was like hair colored. And then when the new ones came out, it was more like Star Wars figures. It's like, yes, it was brilliant. It was flipping brilliant. And they also, I think, was the first toy that could color change. Zartan, if you put him in the sunlight, he would turn like photosensitive, one of those things that change color with light. It's very cool. Sorry. That was
I never got into I had some G.I. Joes, but that wasn't my thing. I didn't keep up with them. I was more of a He-Man and Hot Wheels. Number 20, lame. Creepy android bear. Talking about Mr. Theodore Ruxpin.
Oh.
Teddy Ruxpin is one of the ultimate 80s toys for one big reason. It promised you the future. A teddy bear that not only talked, but its mouth and eyes moved too. Did it read your stories out loud? You bet it did. Underneath the magic, however, Ruxpin held a diabolical secret. You see, the magic of Ruxpin was all an illusion. The bear was powered by cassette tapes that you'd plug into his back. The thing was a huckster, pushing real friends onto kids who were none the wiser. Can you tell I'm still hurt by this betrayal? So it's kind of like a cuddly Wizard of Oz. Same scenario, same synopsis.
I always wondered what would happen if, like, a kid put in, like, NWA or Public Enemy into Teddy Ruxpin, and it starts cursing up a blue streak.
That'd be great.
I don't believe I ever owned a Teddy Ruxpin. I don't remember.
No.
Now, my question to anyone who owned a Teddy Ruxpin: could you put in like Beastie Boys, and did it have to be the Teddy Ruxpin tapes, or could you put in anything?
That would be amazing to know.
I mean, if it were just a cassette player, I would think you could have put
George Carlin in, or.
Oh, right. I get the laugh. Did I send you guys a text the other night with George Carlin? Never mind. I get the laughing about it. I'd forgotten about it. Number 19, lame. dog toys with arms and legs. Surprisingly not made by the same guys who created Barnyard Commandos up there. Food Fighters definitely comes from the same dollar signs in their eyes mania of 80s toys executives. The Food Fighters are pretty much what you'd expect. Fast food items with buff G.I. Joe arms and legs sticking out of them. Rigged up in military gear and given that word threw me off. Puntastic names like Taco Terror and Private Pizza. That's alliteration, sir. My favorite is obviously Major Munch. Constructed of the same squeaky toy soft plastic as Barnyard Commandos and featuring no articulation or movement at all. There's something appealing. There's appealing of the concept of Food Fighters. I especially like that they all have a tiny helmet on. So I don't remember these either. Eric, if you want to look those up real quick, I don't remember these.
What a concept.
So Food Fighters.
Food Fighters. So, by the way, you do need specialized cassettes for Teddy Ruxpin. Not
really?
any cassette will work.
It would have probably been much more popular had that not been the case.
Yeah. All right. Food Fighters. Here we go.
Bring it on.
Let's see Major Munch.
Sorry.
That's Squeeze still.
Squeeze.
Cause he's a snake.
Hold on, let me stop sharing that screen and share a different screen.
So they had to have had Colonel Corn. I would have thought Admiral Apple.
Commodore Couscous.
Private Puddin'.
Is that what the brown thing is there?
Colonel Sanders. Oh, sorry.
Oh my goodness. I'd like to know their names. I see some fries. Is that a cookie? Is that a chocolate chip cookie over there?
Oh man.
What is the brown blob in the middle?
I think it's like a sundae or something because it looks like ice cream.
Private parfait.
Could be private.
That'd be the French military.
General Gelatin.
Food Fighters names. Here's Private Pizza.
Why don't I remember these?
That's funny.
Nickname Pizza the Gut. Born Pepperoni, Pennsylvania. Strength.
Nice.
Bulletproof crust. Weakness loves anchovies. Gold to make a lot of dough. Hobby shopping for new toppings. Quote: a pizza in the oven is worth 2 on delivery.
Yeah.
These would have been fun. At least the little cards and stuff they came with.
I mean, look at the fun we've had the last couple minutes.
Exactly. Interesting.
That's not right.
Commandant Coleslaw.
GI Sloppy Joe.
Oh my gosh.
All right, here we go. The Kitchen Commandos wore black boots, green clothing, and carried red weapons. They included Brigadier General, who's a cheeseburger. Major Munch, a donut, available with chocolate glaze or cherry glaze. Lieutenant Leg, a chicken drumstick. Sergeant Scoop, an ice cream cone, available as chocolate ice cream or sherbet.
Sherbet or sherbet?
Sherbet. Private Pizza, as we talked about. The Combat Carton, an egg carton with a ketchup bottle cannon with tomato slice and pepperoni projectiles.
And a mustard machine gun.
Scattered, splattered, and chunk.
And a get a grenade.
The Fry Chopper, a frying pan helicopter with spatula blades. Fort Fridge, the Kitchen Commandos refrigerator base. So the other team was the Refrigerator Rejects, wore brown boots, black clothing, and carried blue weapons. They included Mean Wiener,
Otherwise known as Meaner. Meaner.
Oh
Chip-
my gosh.
Chip the Ripper, a chocolate chip cookie, also available as a macadamia cookie. Short Stack, a stack of pancakes available with maple syrup or blueberry syrup. Taco Terror, a taco. Fat Frenchie, a box of French fries. And finally, the Barbecue Bomber, a barbecue grill armed with a spatula catapult.
What was this group's name?
This was the Refrigerator Rejects.
A
I thought-
spatapult.
I thought something was blue. Say they're
cheese.
Their fearless leader, Blue Waffle.
Their weapons were blue, so they wore
that's what
brown
it was,
boots,
yeah.
black clothing, and blue weapons.
I wonder if you can still buy these somewhere. I gotta find it.
Sure they're on eBay or something.
Ooh.
All right, that was fun. I'm gonna skip a few just for time's sake.
Yes.
Next on the list, lame. Slinky. It's literally just a piece of metal. I know Slinky was invented way before the 1980s. The toy was created in the 40s when kids had to donate their imagination to the war effort. The reason this toy is so connected with the 80s is due to one thing. Darn it, it's another link. It says this commercial, so I'm assuming it's some 80s commercial. I'll be fair to whoever wrote that earworm. It certainly takes the maybe 4 things a Slinky is capable of and turns them into a catchy tune. So I assume it's some sort of. Do you remember a Slinky song?
I'm not sure I could sing the real Slinky songs. We had a parody, but
Oh wow!
Wait a minute. It goes downstairs, attracting stairs, making that slinkity sound.
It's Slinky for fun. It's a wonderful toy.
I don't want to get sued.
Walks downstairs with owner in pairs and makes a slinkity sound. Everyone knows it's Slinky. It's Slinky. It's Slinky.
You guys will have to text me your parody of it later.
oh.
Oh,
So I owned a Slinky, and I don't remember owning a real. I owned do you remember when Slinkies they made plastic Slinkies?
yeah.
What a blasphemy.
Yeah, but they were still
Slinkies.
Slinky brand. They just were plastic,
Yeah.
and I do remember. I never lived anywhere where there were steps, so they were pretty useless to me.
So
Dad, if you're listening, you know
Thank you for ruining his
Yeah.
childhood.
exactly. I could have used
you
some
can
steps,
find
pops.
you could find that Slinky at your dad's house and bring it to your house. You got
Yeah,
steps.
that's true. But actually, I only have basement steps, but I don't think it's probably there anymore. Number 16.
I got some comments if you
okay.
have a moment.
Go ahead. I have a moment.
Howard says one of his sisters had a Teddy Ruxpin, broke within a week, poorly made. Miss Wilson, did the Foo Fighters get their inspiration from these food fighters? That's a good question. Don't know. Gary says one of them should be Rear Admiral Dilberry. So Howard says the parody of the Slinky song most likely has the word skanky in it. Well,
I would say that would be a very clean.
Actually, there's no curse words in it.
No. It was clean as far as that goes. But I don't know.
I'm assuming it was thick with innuendo.
Well, no, it was pretty straightforward actually, but think of the topics a teenage boy might be thinking about, and that might put you on the right track.
All right.
Miss
Baseball.
Wilson, yeah, baseball. Slinky was good for about 1-2 minute downstairs slink, then it ended up wound in a big tangle.
Yeah.
That's true too. Especially the metal ones were bad, but I don't think the plastic ones were so bad about getting all
Yeah.
tangled up. But
Well, in the metal ones, you could stretch them. If you stretched between 2 slinks a little too much, it would never go back.
true.
Yeah.
All right, this thing here says it's a dentist's dream, and if you could see the picture, you would know right away. This lawsuit waiting to happen is called a Pogo Ball, and was another of those toys that seemingly everyone I knew had, but I never actually played with one. Probably because there are 2 kinds of kids: quiet, imaginative, and intellectual quiet, imaginative, intellectual kids and those who launch themselves off of things and break stuff. I was definitely the former. Anyway, this thing is apparently Dutch. See, the Dutch made it. And for years was exactly what it looked like, a ball with a platform built around it, like a deadly, tiny Saturn.
Yes.
Then in 2017, some evil genius at Little Tikes combined it with Bop It. So you know what they're talking about. It's like a plastic circle with a ball on the top and the ball on the bottom.
And like it said, looked like Saturn.
Yeah, yeah.
So many green stick fractures with that toy.
I never owned
I'm
one.
sure. Oh, my cousin had one, and it was impossible without some kind of hand railing or crutches to get you started. Then you could discard them, but just to get on it and make it do what they did in the commercial was impossible.
Yeah, yeah. 15 on the list, and it's on the best, is Viewmaster. And I will say, I was quite a big fan of the Viewmaster. I remember being quite blown away by being able to look at scenes from my favorite movies right there in front of my face.
Before we had the talkies.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Number 14 on the list, Lame. It's I never knew they had these. It's Police Academy action figures.
Tackleberry.
Kenner's Police Academy action figure line features all your favorite characters from the movie in grotesque cartoon form. So I guess this guy's beef with them is they are cartooned out. Was there ever was there a Police Academy cartoon?
I believe there was, actually.
Oh, hey, I should have read. It says Homer Simpson's favorite movie was turned into an animated series in the 1980s. Back when kids' TV executives were desperately trying to turn all the movies your parents didn't allow you to watch into cartoons to sell you toys.
They never turned Porky's into a cartoon.
All right, skipping a few here. Number 12 on the list, Best. I played with these and I'm not ashamed. That's what the headline says. Surprise, it's another long-running Hasbro property with genius cross synergy. My Little Pony started out as My Pretty Pony, which was larger and less colorful. When My Pretty Pony didn't take off, Hasbro tried a few other options and hit the jackpot with My Little Pony in 19... So I didn't know that they weren't always called My Little Pony. So they were bigger at one time? Or they just... Yeah.
My Pretty Pony, you can comb her hair. That has been an earwig in my... for 40 years. I can't get it out of my mind. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight here. So my Pretty Pony was bigger and less pretty than My Little Pony. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know that they were less pretty. I mean, I think they were bigger, less colorful. So I see where you got that. Yeah, less colorful. So apparently they were just a little bit bland in the...
Like normal horses.
Yeah. My Little Pony would be rebooted several times, most famously as Friendship is Magic in 2010. And if you haven't heard about that, get ready to go down a rabbit hole of modern masculinity. So, I did not play with My Little Ponies that I remember.
You weren't a brony.
A pony brony.
No, that's a real thing.
Really?
Yeah. I saw in the news once. It's a bunch of. They have like a My Little Pony that's male centric, and they call them bronies. I'm serious.
So, this next one's intriguing me. Sorry, I just have Karate Commandos. These are little action figures.
Commando with a K, right?
Yeah, it says, see above, things you weren't allowed to watch being turned into cartoons. Yes, it's Chuck Norris, who sits above Steven Seagal, but below Jean-Claude Van Damme in the action movie star hierarchy. Chuck Norris Karate Commandos are a mix between the Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe, though in this reality, Chuck and the Commandos are the only thing standing between us and the Claw, led by Nefarious Super Ninja Kenner, Nefarious Super Ninja. So another toy by Kenner here.
Did he have a silver hand?
No, he has first off, he has like a silver spur on his left boot, and he's holding some sort of silver weapon, like Is he bald with a dragon tattoo on his chest? No, he's reddish blondish Chuck Norris hair with a headband on and some sort of futuristic.
let's put this nonsense to rest first. No one sits above Chuck Norris. Let's get that out of the way right now.
That's true. That's true.
There's no Jean-Claude Van Damme above Chuck Norris. So
No, I mean, I was a fan of
side of that.
Yeah. By the way, this action figure came with Dragon Whip back kick. So see, he had a like a spur. You see the spur on his boot? He'd kick your ass with that thing.
Get you giddy up and
All right. I'll skip these. I don't remember these. Hologram for the kid. Toy Galaxy. 9. Oh, I remember these things. Best. Honestly, I would wear these right now. It's those Fisher Price my first or like skates.
Yeah.
I never had those, but I know a lot of people did. Did either one of you learn to skate on those things?
nope.
Seems like I was on them once, and the wheels didn't roll very well, and they didn't roll backwards, so like you couldn't fall backwards.
Yeah.
So it's like little safety features, which are few and far between in the late 70s and early 80s.
All right.
Rusty.
I know I'm out of time, so I'm going to just quickly go through these. The number 7 on there was of the Lames off-brand Legos. Mega Bloks is I know an off-brand Lego, which I'll argue that once you got up into when you got older, but like for toddlers and stuff, Mega Bloks had some pretty decent Lego-esque, and also because they got the rights to some characters that Lego didn't. You know, like the one it shows here is a I can't think of what the one cartoon is called, but anyway. So I know that when we were shopping for our kids, like when they were that age, Mega Bloks had certain things that Legos didn't have as far as
Brady,
the branding.
we both said Duplo, but weren't Duplos actually big Legos for babies?
Okay.
So I think they were off-brand. They were on
Yeah.
brand. They were just Legos for youngsters.
Yeah. 6 on the list. Best the actual best action figures. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also by Kenner. I wonder if Kenner's still around.
Kenner was in Cincinnati, but it got bought out by Hasbro.
5. I don't remember these. Some sort of sheep soldiers. Number 4, Lame. Light Bright. I never owned a Light Bright.
Definitely.
My
lame.
sister did.
Again.
And then number
making
3 on the
pictures.
list is a kitchen. Like I never had that kind of stuff that I remember either, like toy kitchens and toy things like that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the list. Number 1 on the list, best Nintendo, the original Nintendo.
Huh.
That is the
Number
list.
1.
Number 1.
Yeah, Light Bright, another offender of having commercials where you make pictures that should be in the Louvre.
Yes. Mine.
The thing I'll say about Nintendo is, obviously, in hindsight, I mean, I don't think any of us could probably stand to play for 10 minutes now with the graphics compared to what they have now, but for the time, I mean, it was a pretty big deal.
It's a
Pretty big jump over Atari.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's probably why it's...
Even a controller with, a kind of a joystick, quote unquote, and 2 buttons. I mean, that was.
Yeah, and I think it's what age you were too. Like, it was my first game console. We had an Atari when I was growing up. That was obviously my older siblings, but it was my first game system. And I think of course a few years later you had Sony, and I think there were a lot of. Then began the Sony versus Nintendo wars, and I was always a Nintendo guy myself, but probably because I wasn't my first game system wasn't a Sony.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
So take a quick look at our website, membership and fan support page. You can become a member of our website by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link at the bottom of this page. And we'll take you to our buymeacoffee.com crowdsourcing website. You can become a member, $5 per month or $50 per year. And our list of Hall of Famers here, Savannah. I believe Savannah's still in the room. Allison Chavis, Chuck Griffin, Jessica Longacre, Rhonda Reeser, Christy Rocky, Joe Rocky. So, once again, visit our website, and you too can join and become a member of our website. All right, Brady.
Yes.
You are up.
Okay. So, we are going to be talking about the toughest, the kings of badassery, if you will. So we have a knockout bracket, a little bit of a contest boiled down. It's going to be the last man, last person standing from toughest movie characters. So who is going to be the toughest? Who would win in a fight? Who's going to win out and be the toughest character? So do we have the premise here?
Are you keeping track?
It's gonna have to be ish. We're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna narrow the list down a little bit, but we're gonna start one off for the ladies. Would
Okay.
it be? Oh, Eric, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Ellen Ripley from the franchise of Alien, or Beatrix Kiddo from the Kill Bill movies.
So, honestly, I never really watched either. Beatrix, was that
Uma Thurman.
Uma.
Thurman? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man, I mean, you got one that battles aliens and one that battles baddies. Just because I like the Kill Bill movies better, I'm going with Uma.
Uma.
That is where I'm leading also.
Yeah.
She escaped from a coffin, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, I was never a big Sigourney Weaver fan.
Of course, we invite our audience to vote as well. Howard says Ripley all the way. Is that because you live in Ripley, or? So both of you said
Beatrix.
Uma. Beatrix. I can't really vote. Like I said, I've never really watched either, but
Okay. You ready for the next one?
moving on.
Dutch from The Predator versus John Wick from the John Wick franchise.
Is Dutch the Arnie?
That is Arnold.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
going
so-
Arnie all day.
Okay, so say the two again.
John Wick from Keanu Reeves, his character John Wick, and Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from Predator.
Okay. I would say Dutch.
Yeah, I'm going Dutch.
Going Dutch.
I have never watched, but I will say, in all fairness, I've never watched a John Wick movie.
Okay. I've seen part of one, but not too many. Or too much of it. And it just doesn't stick with me. That whole Matrix John Wick thing, kind of blends in. So James Bond versus the Jason Bourne character.
I'm not a Bond person. I'm going Jason Bourne. Matt Damon.
I think Bond was much more successful with the ladies. Now, whether that made him
That's because Jason Bourne had no time for the ladies. He was on the run.
We have Brawn versus Brain in this situation. I think I'll take Jason Bourne because there's no way you could convince me that Bond could beat him with, just hand to hand.
Well,
Yeah.
I agree with that, but was Bond supposed to beat you hand to hand? He had gadgets and things.
That is true.
So did Inspector Gadget.
So you think Inspector Gadget could beat Jason Bourne?
No.
Yep.
Bourne was both brains and brawn.
That is true.
Well, you have a point. Okay, back a couple comments. Miss Wilson goes with Beatrix as well as what you all went with. Howard says John Wick. He is more flexible.
Mm.
Savannah says Bond. James Bond. Miss Wilson says Jason Bourne because Bond had to use his agency more. So Bourne was
Jason
more
Bourne
of a-
couldn't trust anybody. No one.
It's true.
more of a loner. Howard says Bond, James Bond, cool gadgets, ready for everything, including.
I'm glad you capitalized that to make it a proper noun there, Howard.
Ms. Galore.
Ms. Galore.
That's Miss Wilson appreciates that too. I bet as an English teacher because that's why capitalization is so important right there.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have mattered to you reading it though, Eric.
No, it really wouldn't have.
Okay. Riggs from Lethal Weapon. John McClane from Die Hard.
Oh.
Toughie.
that is
What a
tough.
toughie.
Really the same character,
Yeah.
Very much so.
except for Riggs had a partner and McClane didn't.
Yeah.
We got another loner type situation.
Well,
there.
I mean, McClane always had a partner, but he was never like a police partner.
Yeah.
I
I'm
guess
going
maybe-
Riggs.
Man. I've made some decisions today. This could be the toughest one. I think John McClane. John McClane.
That and that American Pie song was fantastic that he did.
Well, Howard obviously votes McClane, even though it's a different spelling.
Well, it was that distant where they ended up changing the spelling a bit.
Savannah says Riggs. Dean Mignani, welcome.
No, Dean?
McClane,
McClane.
yippee-ki-yay, and you can finish that one on your own.
I'm going to vote McClane for this one simple reason. I think they would, under normal circumstances, kind of equal out. But Riggs did have the bad shoulder. Therefore, McClane gets the nod.
Fair enough.
Bet he didn't hurt it playing kickball with fourth graders.
Like one of our co-hosts did.
And led the record show I teach fifth grade.
Miss Wilson, McClane, because he was not insane. I don't know. I think McClane might have had some mental health issues. Maybe not diagnosed like Riggs's were, but and Gary says Riggs because he was insane. So, different sides of the same coin. So, what was our final vote here? We had votes all over the place. We had
I think it was a tie.
3 for McClane, 1 for Riggs. You two picked who?
I picked Riggs.
I picked McClane.
I also picked McClane, so I think McClane won by 1.
All right. Rambo.
Versus Hambone.
Ammo. The meanest, leanest
Rapping machine.
machine.
Hambo.
I'm coming to
amazing.
get you. The good old days.
Yes.
Yes.
Dumb ditties.
I totally lost track of what I was doing there.
Well, the first one was Rambo versus whom?
Yeah.
Rambo versus Frank Dukes of Bloodsport. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Let's see. Oh, Rambo. Rambo. John Rambo. What you call hell, he goes home.
I'm gonna go Rambo also. Not meaning to.
I mean, Rambo was effective in multiple situations. You know, the wooded areas, the open
Yeah.
plains.
Yeah. Frank Dukes was brutal, but I want to see him whittle a piece of bamboo, dip it in cow feces, and make a punji stick out of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I want to see him slay a wild boar and take down Brian Dennehy and and have John Crenna as his
John Crenna.
as his
Richard
leader.
Crenna.
Richard Crenna, my
Crenna.
bad. Yes, Richard Crenna.
Uh,
Eric, is it you? No, I think it might be Celia, who has still never seen First Blood.
must
That's
be Celia, 'cause,
yeah. Still my favorite one. That's just a great movie.
Howard says Rambo. Savannah says Rambo. Gary says Rambo. Looks like a Rambo sweep.
I believe so.
Rambi.
The Rambi.
Multiple Rambi.
All right. Excuse me.
Rambunctious.
Vin Diesel, Fast and Furious, versus The Rock, Fast and Furious guy.
I loathe The Rock, so I've only seen one of those Fast and Furious movies, and The Rock wasn't there yet. I'm going Vin Diesel.
Diesel.
He was in that Pitch Black movie. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like a space horror movie.
The Rock's pretty cool. And I didn't like any of the Fast and Furious movies, really. It was just too exciting. So I'm going to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with The Rock to be a contrarian. Plus, he's a pretty cool guy.
He's a one-trick pony.
Yes. And, the Rock plays The Rock. I mean, really.
Yes.
There's no range there.
No.
No Rock on the range. Yeah.
Let's see. Howard says they settled the Rambo versus Duke sort of in Expendables 3 where Stallone killed Van Damme. How about that? Gary says Rambo Coalition. Is that Jesse Jackson? Savannah says Diesel. Howard says The Rock. So I think Brady and I went. No, Todd and I went Diesel, and Brady went The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like Diesel wins. Moving on.
Jackie Chan versus Ralph Macchio.
That's not even a Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
So the character of Danielson could not take Jackie Chan.
Now, if you said Jackie Chan versus Miyagi,
Yeah.
yeah. Now
I'm going Miyagi all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
But Danielson never lived up to Miyagi's. I mean,
No.
He's still chasing Miyagi's ghost.
yeah. There
Well,
wasn't a stain on Miyagi's gi.
oh my gosh.
Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay, good. Yes.
But I bet Daniel made some stains on me. Miyagi's
I was proud of that. So if I would have said it wrong, I would have been very distraught.
I'm sorry. I had
No, but I don't think that that's even a fair. Because I mean, I wouldn't even consider them. You know what I mean? Like the same type of characters.
Yeah.
But I have to go Jackie Chan. If we're just talking about who's going to kick whose ass, Jackie Chan's going to kick Ralph Macchio's ass all day long.
Yes.
You ever hear the comedy bit about it was Gary Goldman about the Karate Kid and how he should have gotten his butt kicked, and it was just ridiculous. You know, the crane kick, telegraphing the crane kick. When is he going to do it? Like he stands there for a half an hour at the end of the movie.
And you know what I would have done?
Don't run toward his leg.
Yeah, I just would have stood there and just let him do that until he wore out and his leg got all shaky.
But you're on the timer. You're on the clock.
That's true. That's true. But I still would like. Has it been answered? I mean, that should have been a foul. There's not a point
Why
based
should it be
on
a foul?
based on the Cobra Kai point system in the series, that would have been wouldn't have counted.
You could kick him in the snot locker. That's not against the rules.
It's not a point though. It's got to be below the neck. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, that's one thing I think that Cobra Kai does so well. We've talked about that before. I mean, it paints it sheds some real light on the character of Danielson.
Indeed.
There is a
His
dark
character is
side.
much more well-rounded.
Yeah.
All right. So Savannah says Chan. Howard says Jackie Chan. He's a real martial arts expert and appeared in Bruce Lee movies as a young man. Miss Wilson also says Jackie Chan. He could win without any leg mobility. Correct. Like we said, not even a consideration. That's not the same character. Like I said, Chan versus Miyagi. That's a debate.
It is. Yeah. I'm going Miyagi.
I would go Miyagi.
Miyagi-Do karate.
Miyagi, yes. And I think it'd be a good time because we need to go to the go to the next round of the bracket and everything. Would this be a good time to pause that and we could go on to the next topic?
We can do a part 2.
We could do that.
Yeah.
That works. All right. Back to the website. Hold on. Can't work the technology here. Let's go back to the website.
Got gremlins.
There we go. All right. So you go to the top at our menu and you can go to our isms. The isms ever come up? There we go. Of course, at the beginning of every page or top of every page, you have our audio on the left, you have our video in the center, you have our calendar on the right, which I've done a poor job of keeping up with the calendar. I need to put the dates in, but it'll show when our live recordings are and when the audio recordings are released and whatever else might be happening. And then also the register for the play-by-ear email list. You can do that here as well on every page. But here on the bottom of this particular page is our isms page. So these are the in Urban Dictionary style, the different terms that we use here in the show. If you're not familiar with a term that we use, you can go to our isms page and look up the definition. All right, an oldie but a goodie. Up again it, but not in it. Bordering but not blending. You go right ahead and put your slaw atop that manwich. As for me, I'll take mine up again it, but not in it. That is my credo in regard to manwich. There'll be no slaw on my manwich.
I don't like it on my manwich.
Yeah, I like it with my manwich.
Yeah.
Not on my manwich.
Well, it depends. We've talked about this before. If it's a good tacky, wet slaw.
Well, even then, though, I don't want it on it.
No, yeah. But I don't even want the slaw if it's basically just a bunch of dried cabbage.
Grabbage.
Chop it fine and wet it down.
Oh.
Chop it fine and wet it down.
All right. That brings us to topic number 3, which is our game of the evening.
Gain.
Been a while. But we're going to play. Been a while. So we're going to play Misery Index.
Misery Index.
Misery Index.
Been a while.
So Howard says slaw goes on pulled pork. Again, I would say slaw doesn't go on any sandwich of that sort in my world. But I've seen people put slaw on manwich.
Yep. And pulled pork. It's
Right.
both.
Right.
Anything pulled. Pulled and witched.
Pulled chicken. Pulled pork.
Pulled
No.
corpse.
Pulled pork. Yeah, Brady, a nice juicy piece of pork.
Pulled polecat.
All right. So, for those of you who forget how Misery Index works, I'm going to give a scenario. And the Misery Index goes from 1 to 99, 1 being the less miserable, 99 being the most miserable. And our co-host here will basically guess as to where this particular scenario falls on the Misery Index. So, we also invite our audience to take a guess as well. Gary says Slaw can go on a hamburger as well. Again, not in my world, but
You know where Slaw goes when I'm eating it. Right
In my
on top of my college cheese.
yeah.
You got to put the coleslaw on top of the cottage cheese, so at the coleslaw uses run down in betwixt the cottage cheese kernels or curds, not kernels. Yeah, that would be weird.
That is absolutely sacrilegious.
No, it's good, man.
Absolutely sacrilegious.
You get both textures and both flavors all mixed. And it works well.
That's a nightmare for Brady.
I'm gonna. Hey, Howard, are you still in the house? Eric and Todd, could I ask Howard to be my stand-in for a couple of minutes?
Okay.
Yeah.
Howard,
All
you
right.
got it. So you're going to play against Todd till Brady gets back.
Is Howard in?
Howard's in. All right. So again, the Misery Index, like I said, 1 to 99 scenario where it falls on the index. Todd, we will start with you. Our scenario is major earthquake. So again, to go over the rules again, Todd will make a guess as to where it falls on the index. Howard will say higher or lower. Brady will say higher or lower when he gets back. But Todd, major earthquake. Where does it fall?
Man, I'm assuming I'm in it.
Well,
I mean, it's bad no matter what, but it's worse if you're in it.
I mean, I would guess that hearing about it on the news versus being in it, I'd say that would be a reasonable deduction that you're in said earthquake.
I'm going to say 62.
62. I know Howard's on a little bit of a delay here watching the podcast here. So again, major earthquake. Where does it fall in the Misery Index? Todd says 62. And we will wait for Howard's guess. Howard, do you say higher or lower? So Pseudo Brady says higher. He believes it's 79, but the guess itself is just perfunctory to what we need. If he says higher, that's what we'll go with. Major earthquake, Misery Index, 77. 77. So Pseudo Brady.
Faux Brady. Fody.
Oh.
Now I feel like an ass, and I feel like I'm not sensitive enough to major earthquake victims. I mean, I guess I'm not. I guess I wasn't thinking of like death and destruction. I was just thinking of damage. And I mean, damage is bad, but it's replaceable. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like a jerk, man. That I didn't pick higher.
It's okay, man.
Way to go, Eric. You made me feel bad.
All right, Howard. Where does Bankruptcy fall on the Misery Index? Bankruptcy, by the way, Gary said lower on that, lower than 62. So
Yeah, see, must be a.
Gary felt that was a less miserable experience as well.
I don't feel so bad now because I know Gary's a good guy.
Yes. Bankruptcy, Howard. Where does that fall in the Misery Index from 1 to 99? And again, Howard on a bit of a delay.
Is Howard typing his answers?
Pseudo Brady says 64 nowadays. So you're saying that Bankruptcy at one point in time was more than 64, but in our current situation, 64 would be the guess. Todd, higher or lower than 64?
I'm going to go lower, Bob.
Lower than 64. Misery index of Bankruptcy, 78.
Gosh.
78.
Doing terrible.
Terrible.
No, I was asking it. I didn't know if because I couldn't see any. I couldn't see people's responses all of a sudden, so I didn't know if Howard was typing his or just telling you somehow.
No, he's typing them in.
Gotcha. Oh, I could put my little comments thing on.
There you go.
That would help.
That would help.
Yeah.
All right. Pseudo Brady is out
Pseudo
to
Brady's
a
on a roll.
2-0 lead.
Eric, I demand you change that scoreboard to Pseudo Brady.
I could do that. I believe I will.
Yeah, don't do it on my part. I was just joshing. Nice.
How about some parentheses for the
Nice.
Pseudo Brady? All right. Todd.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we had some guesses there. Jim said lower on the Bankruptcy, as you did, Todd. And Gary says, I never know how this game's going to go. It is a sometimes hard to figure out and where they come to these numbers. But anyway, Todd,
Yes.
where does it fall in the misery index to smell like a fart for the rest of your life? Now,
Go ahead.
to me, and I'm just going to say this, I don't mean to color your answer at all, but I think it really depends on what kind of fart you smell like.
I was getting ready to say, and maybe to some I already smell like a fart. I don't know. I right. I mean, I'm still a boy at heart, and a good fart is funny. So I'll be the clown. I'll smell like a fart for you if that's what makes you laugh, people. I'm going to say the point is moof.
If it were moof, then it shouldn't be very miserable, then should it?
I'm going to say 48.
Gary said
I just set it up pretty. I set it pretty. Easy.
Pickled egg fart. 48
Pickled egg fart or pickled egg fart.
48, you said?
Yeah.
Howard, or Pseudo Brady, as it will, higher or lower than 48 to smell like a fart for the rest of your life. And again, I guess you yourself in your answer would have to decide what
Somebody else's fart, because that's disgusting.
I was going to say other people's farts always smell worse than your own. So, Pseudo Brady says, with all I know about farts, he says higher. So smelling like a fart for the rest of your life on the misery index, 77.5. So yeah. I guess
as soon as I said it, I knew I was wrong.
Yeah, you lowballed that one.
Yeah.
All right, Pseudo Brady 3, Todd 0. All right, Pseudo Brady. Where does it fall in the misery index to step on a plastic toy in bare feet? So a Lego or some other pseudo Lego. What were the pseudo Legos called?
Mega Bloks. I was going to say though, this once again depends on the toy. If it's a whoopee cushion, it's not. That's kind of enjoyable.
True. Now I'll show the picture here. Picture is of a Lego.
Okay, that changes things.
Yeah, guess I could do that. I could show these. I don't think any of the pictures I've had up to now really played into the question, but so stepping on a plastic toy. Pseudo Brady says 69. Todd?
I'm going higher.
Higher?
Slightly.
Just slightly. Stepping on a plastic toy in your bare feet, misery index is
What the
0.5.
shit?
0.5. Jim said 20, and Gary said higher for the plastic toy.
I have sensitive feet. I can't even hardly walk on grass barefoot.
I'm with you. That would bother me.
Yeah.
Greatly. Now, have you stepped on a plastic toy I mean, people who had kids generally have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was way more than 0.5. Going by my my onslaught of curse words, the neighbors probably definitely knew that it was more than 0.5.
So Gary said, "What? Our dad's not allowed to vote." So even though Pseudo Brady won the point, he calls BS on 0.5.
Yeah.
All right, Todd.
Mm-hmm. I need a point here.
You do need a point because the 7-0's a skunk.
Yes.
Those are agreed
Polecat.
upon rules in any game.
That's right.
Driver's license is suspended.
That's all it says?
That's all it says. Driver's license.
It depends
is
on how old
suspended.
you are.
True. So just to get inside your line of thinking here, you say it depends on how old you were.
Yeah.
Would it be worse when you were older or less?
Well,
bad?
I think it depends. Like Ethan's going to take his test tomorrow, so if he passes, he'll have his license. If he were to get him suspended on Saturday, life wouldn't change much for him because he's just now, getting them if he gets them. But, if you depended upon them to get to work and feed your family, things like that. But I could see how at least a teenager or young person would think that it was the end of the world.
Right.
So there would be quite a bit of hyperbole involved. But I'm going to go with 43.
43.
Yeah.
Pseudo Brady, higher or lower than 43 when your driver's license is suspended. And our score again is Pseudo Brady 4, Todd 0. Todd looking to get on the board and keep away from the skunkage. Pseudo Brady says higher. Jim says lower. So, driver's license is suspended. Todd, you said 43, right?
Yeah.
Misery index, slightly higher, 49.5. So you were closer.
Yeah.
But still no point. So now we're looking at a 5-0.
I'm about to get polecatted.
You are about to get polecatted. 5-0. All right, Pseudo Brady. You have cocktails with a recently released sex offender. Where does that fall in the misery index? Cocktails with a recently released sex offender. Now, this is very vague in my mind. I mean, is it just you walking
We've
into
had
a
this
bar,
one before.
walking into a bar and sitting down and just, not knowing a person and just chatting it up and then finding out later, hey, that person's
Yeah. Was it planned? Was it?
Yeah, or was this like an online dating thing and you end up matched up with a...
Yeah. And
So Pseudo Brady says 47 to that. Cocktails with a recently released sex offender. Todd, higher or lower than 47?
man, I'm going to go lower.
Going to go lower.
It sounds terrible. I mean, so with my lack of empathy for major earthquake victims, and now this, it sounds terrible. But I think I'm like you. It's there's too much what if. I mean, if you know it and you know all the details and you agree with it, then that's different. But if you're just, I'm assuming a blind date or something, and you just happen to find that out or find it out later, you can't blame yourself.
Right. Jim agrees with you, Todd. Cocktails with a recently released sex offender misery index is 67.5.
There is no reasoning with this game. You can't talk sense into these people that they surveyed.
That is correct. More importantly, Todd, 6-0. You're looking at a polecat if you don't get this correct.
A pulpus.
Pulpus.
Man.
All right. Question is yours.
I don't usually feel this dumb.
All right. Scenario is bird on your head.
Bird.
Peep squawk. Bird on your head. And again, what if it's like a bald eagle versus a
Yeah, I mean, if it's your, are we talking a
parakeet?
We talking an albatross here, or are we talking
Albatross.
are we talking like a ruby-throated hummingbird? I mean, I can take that.
Or
Are we talking your basic kingfisher? I mean, what are we talking about here? Your barn owl?
Who?
Your peregrine falcon? I mean, I'm just going to keep going. Man, and I think it depends on when they last ate.
Hmm?
Are we talking berries or that nasty white stuff?
That would make a difference. All the berries would
Yeah.
like stain your clothes and stuff.
Yeah. But berries is somewhat less gross looking. Just like somebody squashed a grape on you or a blackberry. I'm going to say 39.
39. All right, Pseudo Brady, higher or lower than 39? Pseudo Brady first says that pterodactyl paturds would be bad. Pseudo Brady says higher. Bird on your head. Misery index 3.
Nice.
Todd on the board. Lives to fight another day.
On the board.
On the board. We're going to 10. It's the 1. Pseudo Brady.
There's a little bit of freezage on my end, Eric. If I don't respond, that's what's...
Oh, sorry. Pseudo Brady, there's a squirrel in your house. Squirrel in your house.
There is a squirrel in your house.
Squirrel. There's a squirrel in my house. I'm going to go off on that tangent again. Ronnie Millsap was blind. He
Yes.
sings a song with the lyrics, "There's a stranger in my house, somebody there who I can't see."
How does he know?
Well, I'm figuring stranger or not, I figure he can't see them at all. So
Yeah, but you got to figure his other senses are heightened. So he can smell it. He can smell if it's a stranger, especially if he smells like a fart.
Well, but he but he doesn't say that. He says somebody there that I can't see. So
True. But the line wouldn't have worked if he would have said somebody there that I can't see, though I can smell them and I can hear them quite a bit better than if I were able to see them.
that's true. Can't get too descriptive there. It does ruin.
But I get it.
Does ruin the rhyme. Does ruin the prose.
But I like some Ronald Millsap.
Well, I like the song.
Yeah. I'm going less Pseudo Brady.
Oh, by the way, Pseudo Brady said 42 on the squirrel in the house.
Yeah, I'm going less. Lower.
Jim asked if it's in the Christmas tree. And according to our conversation we just had, Howard says he knows them by their cologne. So, yes, the heightened sense of smell. So you're going lower? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Squirrel in the house, misery index 3.5. Todd is on a roll.
Man. Don't call it a comeback.
Call it a comeback. All right, 6-2. And Gary says a pickled egg stranger in my house. Somebody there who I can't see, but I certainly can smell it. All right, Todd. Scenario is win the Powerball. Lose the ticket. So you're talking multi-million dollars here. That's a given. I don't think it could be any less than like $2 million.
But you didn't have the money to begin with.
True.
So I'm going to go relatively low, 25.
25. Pseudo Brady. Win the Powerball, lose the ticket. Higher or lower than 25. So would it matter to you, Todd, in your line of thinking what the amount of the jackpot was? If the jackpot were higher, would your misery become more?
Well, I think your misery is going to be high regardless but it's going to be short-lived, I guess is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. So Jim says he thinks the Powerball is $20 million a minimum, which could be. I don't know. I don't generally play it, but multi-million dollars anyway.
Yes.
Maybe I'm thinking like the local Ohio lottery thingy. Forget what it's called. I think maybe the minimum on that's $2 million. Anyway, win the Powerball, lose the ticket. Todd says 25. Pseudo Brady. Hopefully we didn't lose Pseudo Brady. Oh, sorry.
He says
I missed
higher.
it there. He did say higher. Win the Powerball, lose the ticket. Misery index 69.
Oh.
So fairly miserable. Not extremely miserable. Fairly miserable.
Yeah.
All right. So our score now, as I change the scoreboard, Pseudo Brady 7, Todd 2. Pseudo Brady. Scenario is you are wetting the bed every night. You are incontinent in your bed every night.
And hey, is it your bed?
It just says wet the bed. I
See?
assume it's yours. I mean,
If it's not yours, it doesning matter quite as much.
well, you're still sleeping in it, right?
I don't know. It just says you're wetting it. Maybe
So you
you're,
just stand there and piss all over it. I mean,
and then you don't sleep in it. That's
that would be fairly
well,
unmiserable.
no points.
be miserable for somebody else. All right. Pseudo Brady says 67 for wetting the bed every night. Todd, higher or lower than 67?
Higher.
Higher.
Har.
Wetting the bed every night. Misery index. Indeed higher, 68.5.
I was going to say just higher.
A smidge, a skosh higher. So now we're looking at a 7-3 score. Todd.
Yes. You know what the problem is? I don't have my sucker.
Well, you are without the sucker.
Am I supposed to win without my gaming sucker?
That's true. All right. Scenario is you are added to the no-fly list.
Again, I think it just depends on if you are a person who has to fly for your work.
True.
I'm going to say 27.
27. Pseudo Brady, you're added to the no-fly list, higher or lower than 27. So, I mean, I guess within reason, you could drive anywhere in the continental United States, even Alaska, if you wanted. Mexico. Pseudo Brady says slightly higher. So you said, what did you say again? 27?
27.
Right? 27. You're added to the no-fly list. Misery index 65.5, so more than slightly higher, considerably higher. So that makes our score
8.
8-3.
Man, this sucker's not doing anything for me.
I'd have opened it too late.
Mm-hmm.
And gotten to the mojo in the middle yet.
That's right.
All right. Pseudo Brady. You are caught picking your nose. What's the misery index?
I think they purposely leave these wide open. Like, you get caught by who? Like,
I mean, do you want to get caught by anybody picking your nose?
well, if you look over and the guy next to you's picking his nose, I don't think it matters much.
Well, but I mean, that guy probably doesn't want to get caught picking his nose.
And it probably depends on how old you are. I think if you look over and the guy next to you's picking his nose, you just laugh about it and move on. You're probably at the urinal anyway.
That's probably true.
According to the wallpaper at most urinals, the hell is it with gross ass people doing that? I don't get that.
I don't either.
Ugh.
All right. Pseudo Brady says 27 on the cop picking the nose scenario. Todd, higher or lower than 27?
This is tough because
I mean, does it matter what you're pulling out there, too?
I mean, as long as they don't catch you eating it, I think that's the important
that's
part.
a whole different level right there.
You know, kids have no shame in that though. They'll just stare right. They'll stare into your soul and pick their nose.
Absolutely, and eat it.
Exactly. They'll even eat it in slow motion just so you can never forget it for the rest of your life.
And then lick their fingers.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Brady would be having a conniption right now.
Yes, he would. He'd be heaving.
I'm gonna go with the way people are. I mean, these for whatever reason, I have in my head that it's the same 100 people they ask for each one of these questions. I don't know why, because I was getting ready to say with the way people have been voting lately. I'm gonna go caught picking your nose. I'm gonna go slightly higher, even though I don't think it would be as bad as.
Jim went against you and said lower. Cop picking your nose, misery index 2.
Should have went with my gut. See, I knew picking your nose was no big deal.
But like you said, I mean, eating it, no, that's a whole different level right there.
Well, it depends. Like if you got the edge of the nostril itch.
Yeah.
If you got that going, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Right.
if you're 2 knuckles deep in your snoot.
That's the thing. What constitutes picking? I mean, picking, it's a wide range of.
Well, actually, if you do
actions.
this, I think people confuse picking with pushing. Most people are pushing their nose.
Pushing. Pushing what?
Well, that's what I mean. But if there's something in your nose and you push your finger up it, you're pushing it up. You're actually making the problem worse.
Oh, all right.
At some point, you gotta turn your fingers into pincers.
Pseudo Brady. Scenario is, guess you're trying to get back to nature. Get out on the trail. Got to do your business. You're without a bidet or toilet paper. You wipe your ass with poison ivy. Where does that fall in the misery index? Wiping your asshole with poison ivy. Because really, I mean, it's really what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
You're not,
Yeah,
not rubbing a cheek. You're
Yeah.
not rubbing a cheek with it. I mean,
That's right. That would be weird.
Well, Jim, the misery index only goes to 99, so 100. Pseudo Brady says 78. Todd, keep in mind, if you miss this, you lose.
I know, but what kind of freaks are the 21 others who would have said, "No, I'm good with it." I like a little poison ivy in the ditch. Let's see. I'm going higher.
Higher than 78.
And I agree, Gary.
Gary says, I think higher, so I'll say lower. Is that what you used there, Todd? Was that your line of thinking?
I don't know. This is all over the place. This game is. It's a difficult game.
It is. Wiping your ass with poison ivy, misery index 32.5.
Are you shitting me?
Not after the poison ivy, I guess. So, must have opened the sucker too late. Salvage.
I did.
You got absolutely schnockered.
I did get schnockered, but I don't feel so bad because, again, I just disagree wholeheartedly with only 30 people out of 100 said that it wasn't that. What I don't know, whatever they said.
So 68 people, or 67.5 people, felt that poison ivy in your rectal area was not a miserable experience.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So then there's this thing. Have you had to experience that, or you're just supposition of? Because I mean, we're just supposing. I'm assuming
that's true. I honestly, and I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm pretty blunt. I've never done that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing all the scenarios, the 13 scenarios we went through here. I mean, most of them you probably have not experienced personally.
Yeah, but I think that I don't think that getting poison ivy on your caboose is something that you have to have experienced to know how miserable it would be. I would like to know the age of the people that asked in some of these.
That's a good question. All right, so the final: Pseudo Brady 10, Todd 3, and Howard says Pseudo Brady wins the Pseudo Trophy. That is correct. Or the champion. So I can see you in my mind's eye going like this. 2 hands over the head. Giving yourself the kudos. All right. That rounds out episode 88 of the Play It By Ear podcast. And as always, our audio version of this podcast will be released on Friday at 3 a.m. You can find that audio on Anchor is our host site, but Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, those are our big Ghana, also a big platform for us, for our Indian friends. 25% of our audience or listeners or listens have been from India, so we do have a contingent there. So you probably can find us on Ghana, although you can find us on all those other things too. Also, the video version of this podcast is archived on YouTube. You can search Play By Your podcast to find our channel there. Twitch. Thank you. It's on there. It's not archived on there. It stays on there for a little while. Also archived on Facebook. And for our social media links, you can go to our website, www.playbyyourpodcast. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, although I've not figured out Instagram very well, but we do have an account there. You can interact with us via email, admin@playbyyourpodcast.com. You can leave a voice message. Click the link at your audio podcast provider. We'll put your voice or your question, your comment right in to the audio version of the podcast. So still looking for those. Anything for the good of the order, Todd?
I can't think of anything. It's been fun. It's been real. Thank you, Pseudo Brady, for the
Pinch
ass
hitting
kicking.
roll. Yeah, a pinch hitter kicked your ass. How
Yeah,
about that?
man.
Should be ashamed.
I am.
Or not. I don't know. Anyway, we will be back next week. As far as schedules go, I mean, my personal schedule opens up a little bit, so we'll probably talk about getting back to a particular night of the week and getting our schedule back in order instead of going around all different kinds of days. So hope to see you all for episode 89. It will be fine. Can't wait to see you next week.
Sneaking up on 100.
That's right. Todd, take us out.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.